What's up, guys, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good one, and happy Thursday. The latest over-the-air balance patch is live, and we're getting a taste of what weekly card balance looks like. Now, if you haven't been playing Marvel Snap over the last week, here's a little bit of an inside look of what the ladder has been like.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
Well, guys, you can kiss that goodbye, because with one small change to a card, it's going to be slotted into so many decks and drastically change and spark a brand new meta. Now, guys, let's start with the top and the most impactful change, and that has to be Enchantress. Now, it's only a +2 power change, but this is going to definitely have her into so many decks. I mean, just looking at her play rate compared to Shang-Chi, it's drastically lower. And now we have huge power swings with the card, and she's going to be absolutely colossal, taking out ongoing cards that typically drop to like 0 power and simultaneously dropping 6 power on the board herself. Now, is this going to kill ongoing decks and cards? No, but what it will do is inspire fear to those players, right? You know, no longer can you play Patriot, just dead early, or maybe Darkhawk, Devil Dinosaur, throw them lackadaisically into a lane and not care. It's definitely going to shift the balance, because Enchantress is a big impact card, kind of like Killmonger and these other cards like Cosmo, that rise and fall other decks based on their popularity. I think this is a good thing overall, kind of like a Shang-Chi to some of these cards, and it should really increase her play rate and make her much better. Now, Sandman is definitely one of the more delicate cards in terms of card balancing that they have to deal with. He's definitely a necessary evil and should be like a good deck, but not a top deck, right? Right now, just playing him in Electro Ramp is all too easy with Dr. Doom and Odin, and just this is probably going to tame all that down just a bit, because it's going to affect his priority numbers and the few cards that you get to play. Now, that combined with Enchantress being slotted into more decks, she's actually a great counter, and now you can throw her on an anticipated Sandman lane, and or just wait till turn 5 and you're having 6 power with 4 energy or 3 with Zabu. Definitely going to have a big impact on how much we see Sandman in the meta. The time has finally come. The King of 2 costs has been addressed, and they did a perfect job with this one. I actually really like it, because it keeps him competitive, and his role is the exact same, but there's a bit more punishment to it. Now, his stat line is going to stay the same as a 2/5, which is easily amongst the best cards. I mean, just looking at Polaris, even 5-cost cards, he can match in power, which was just way too high for a little con. But now he's a 2/5 and will have -4 power if your opponent plays 4 cards there. Now, why this feels so good is because Lizard's all about priority, right? Getting priority early and using that priority to win the game later. But now you're going to give up some of that power in the later turns if your opponent chooses to flood and stack that lane. And at the same time, Lizard's a great card now to really make somebody dedicate cards to a lane that maybe they weren't planning on. I think this is going to give other 2-cost cards a chance to be competitive, and there's a lot of good ones out there. To me, this is a perfect way to balance a card without taking away its identity, and you can still use Luke Cage, Sauron, and Enchantress now on turn 6. Combined with Lizard is 6 cost, 11 power, so definitely love the change to Lizard, and it, again, should allow other 2-cost cards to shine. Now, guys, I have no idea how they decide which cards to buff and nerf in the game, but what I can tell you is Shanna, although she might need one, was not on my Marvel Snap buff bingo card. But honestly, I'm pretty excited, right? Because Zoo is a super fun archetype that's kind of gone in and out of the meta, but now definitely should bring it to a more competitive spot. She's kind of like a mini Ultron, and again, if you have Zabu on the board, she's only 3 costs. Shanna is a card I've had a lot of fun with. She's like a Lockjaw RNG casino card in some ways, but in other ways, just really good under the right kind of deck. I myself will definitely be going back to Surprise Ultron, a deck that I love, and I think will only get better with Shanna's adjustment. So all in all, guys, what are going to be the biggest impacts from these changes? I think big time, a Sauron kind of 0 deck is definitely going to spike up with the change to Enchantress. Again, ongoing decks might go down a bit. Sarah Control with Enchantress and Zabu and or Sarah Toxic should go up heavily as well. And honestly, I think we're going to see some new deck and archetype design just from the changes on the patch. So that's going to be it as far as the card changes go. Let me know what you think. And I've got to tell you guys, Crystal Angel, some of these cards are just like left on the wayside. And I do wish they would address those cards. At the very least, say something on like the post like, hey, we know these cards need love. We're working on them. But it does get me excited for next week. And this one kind of affected a lot more of the current meta, which I think is a good thing. If you're wondering about Galactus, because I'm sure I'll get comments, there's no question that it's going to be more of an ability change and a rework if they do decide to go that route. And to be candid, guys, I don't think we're going to see a change till like May or even June at the earliest. But I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Good luck out there on the final days of the ladder. You can rest assured I'll have some 6 spicy decks that I'll be kind of coming up with over the next couple of days. And if you haven't already, subscribe down below so you don't miss those. And until the next one, as always, guys, happy snapping.